I had this kidney stone that was 2 3/4 inches. You're not going to pass that little guy.
Oh, and you wouldn't want to.
They scheduled surgery, and it's called a nephrostomy. It's where they go in the back, make an incision. Well, he stuck the knife in my back, and I realized they hadn't given me enough anesthesia.
You could feel it.
I could feel it. Knife goes right in. I'm going, Doc, you got to wait a minute.
So you weren't even unconscious?
Oh, no, I was wide awake.
Were you supposed to be unconscious?
I was supposed to be unconscious.
So you were able to speak?
Hey, Doc, you better hold up a second because, man, something's not right. He's going, oh, my God, he's awake.
So many women I talk to are tired of generic advice that never really moves the needle. What you want is personal guidance, support that cuts through the noise and speaks to your unique situation and actually gets you results right away. That's exactly why I designed my upcoming 12-week Clean Eating Mastery program. It's designed to give you simple, powerful steps that bring clarity and confidence without the overwhelm. You'll find the details in the show notes. And today's conversation is a perfect example for what can happen when you stop getting surface-level answers and start giving your body exactly what it needs. My guest, Dr. Dennis Paul, lived with Crohn's disease for 50 years. After constant pain, multiple surgeries, and dead ends, he discovered how to heal himself through lifestyle shifts, hypnosis, and breakthrough regenerative tools. One moment still gives me chills. He literally used self-hypnosis to endure a 6-hour surgery without anesthesia. This episode is going to show you how truly amazing the body is when you give it what it needs to heal. Dr. D, welcome back to the Green Living Now podcast. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing awesome.
So you and I have spoken a bunch of different times, and your story is quite remarkable. You had Crohn's disease for 50 years, and 10 years ago, you were able to heal it, resolve it. How do you explain that?
I just say I got free of the disease. They couldn't find any sign of it.
That's amazing. Okay, so let's start there.
Okay, 50 years. Is a long time to struggle. 50 years of 24/7 pain, discomfort. I did get really good at finding clean restrooms, so now that's a specialization of mine. But it's a lifestyle that, especially when I grew up, they did not know very much about gut diseases, and the doctors admitted it. Hey, we're still trying to learn. But I ended up having 2 ball resections. They took out a total of 18 feet. And then because of the secondary issues from the pharmaceuticals, anesthesias, the antibiotics, and all the garbage they pump into you, all these poisons and toxins, I ended up with about another 15 surgeries ultimately. It's interesting because as I was really searching for the solution to health and wellness, the reality was that nobody really had any solutions that were effective. So I started on my own journey, kind of like Dorothy on The Wizard of Oz. And you come up to certain roads and you'd meet certain people. And I was really blessed in meeting individuals that were like mentors on such a high level. One of the things that really was life-changing for me was I met a woman who was a nutritionist, dietitian, just an amazing woman. And I called her my Catholic nun, even though she's Jewish, because, man, she'd wrap my knuckles with her ruler and she held me accountable. And it really was the force in helping me change my lifestyle. Because I like to drink, I like cigars, bourbon was my favorite, all of these things that were not good for me. I ultimately came to the decision to get rid of them, and it'd make a huge difference. And then I still was struggling with constant pain. And now that I know some of the science illustrates that chronic pain longer than 6 months begins to cause the brain to shrink and deteriorate, you'll lose as much as 12% of your gray matter. Well, and when you lose that, you know what the other negative things happen to you in life. So I'm struggling along. I'm trying to maintain a career. I'm trying to do business. And it was tough because, you'd be in the middle of a business meeting, all of a sudden you'd say, hey, look, if I don't go find a men's room, we're going to have a problem.
Yeah.
So, it's not an easy thing to do. Then someone suggested to me that I go see a hypnotist. So I started studying and doing some research background. And it was, I want to say about 2013, 2014. I started going to seminars where some of these world-class hypnotists were doing training. It was another interesting experience for another day, but I found out I had a gift for it. It was so nice to be able to even learn self-hypnosis to manage that pain. And of course, that was a huge game changer for me. I ultimately went through a program called Regression to Cause, and I'll never forget that because as I regress back through my lifetime, this is really interesting because the video is in the Zurich University in Switzerland. But
A video of you?
yes.
I
Well,
was kidding.
as I'm describing what's going on, I was actually in the womb and I was experiencing trauma from verbal abuse of my father to my mother. But at the same time, the hypnotist was asking me, well, is it night? Is it day? Is it light? Is it dark? Is anybody with you? And I'm going, ooh, there is somebody with me. Well, who is it? And I stopped and I said, well, it's my twin sister.
Wow.
Where I ended up ultimately with Crohn's disease, she had a liver disease that almost killed her twice.
Oh
So
my.
she and I, were really close. We bonded like even more than brother and sister. I mean, spiritually, we were really connected. We knew no matter if she lived on the West Coast of the United States and I lived on the East, we always knew when the other person was suffering and struggling.
That's incredible. So you had that deep twin connection.
Yes. Anyways, I started taking training in hypnosis and I did the deep dive down the rabbit hole and I found out how the brain controls everything, not just mentally,
Mm-hmm.
as we would normally think, but physiologically, emotionally, and spiritually. All of these things are connected. And then as I continued to learn and research and progressed in my capabilities, I also met a doctor on a flight from where I live in West Palm Beach going to Las Vegas to a conference. And turns out she has a PhD in neurology, gastroenterology, and she told me I'm missing the third brain because I talked about the gut-brain connection. She said the third brain is your cardiovascular system. I'm going, really? So then as I continued studies, now they have demonstrated brain entrainment, where the
Oh, yes.
communication between the three brains are the primary communication system. I use this with my clients on a daily basis is reestablish those communications and the secondaries. One of the things that we were laughing together about were some of my experiences on the road. And I intimated earlier that I became a specialist in restroom sanitation, which is ironic because my first career was in hospital and food service sanitation. I
Oh
used
my gosh. That's pretty wild.
yeah.
Okay.
So when COVID hit, I'm telling everybody what they need to do. And they're going, well, who are you? And I'm going, well, I got a certification in sanitation. Listen to
So
me.
I know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know what I'm
So-
talking about. Everybody's using all these poisons again, like Clorox bleach. That's one of the worst poisons for our system. Those chlorides are damaging.
Right.
Anyways, I had some very interesting things happen to me because I was also traveling internationally. And the problem that I had was embarrassing because when you're in a business meeting, you know what happens. When you're socializing with people, you know what
And this is
happens.
at the height of when Crohn's was happening for you. So you had to run to the bathroom a lot.
Had to run to the bathroom a lot. And of course, flatulence is one of those
Mm.
things that's embarrassing, but sometimes you can't control it. So
Yeah.
all my friends used to chastise me, especially when we'd go deer hunting and we're in a cabin and there's no place to go.
Oh,
So
no.
I'd torture them. But anyways, when you have a chronic illness, you learn how to compensate for these things. And sometimes it's very embarrassing, but like they say, shit happens. So you,
Right.
but
Literally.
the part that really bothered me the most was I was always pretty much a go-getter. I've done a lot of things that are quite interesting, but I always knew that I was only operating at best on a good day at 50%. Well,
Yes.
how do you take care of the family? How do you pay the bills? Some of these things are really devastating because that then impacts your personal relationships and those become a struggle. And I did realize the mental depression that I had because of this constant 24/7 struggle.
Yeah.
For me, if I'd have had alternatives in terms of maybe a residual income or something, it would have really helped because
Yeah.
weeks, I mean, weeks. And I can remember a couple times, especially after my first bowel resection, I was in the hospital for 4 months.
Oh my
How do you
gosh.
hurt when you're in the hospital that long?
No, you don't.
It was after I met my Jewish Catholic nun that played a major part in my
That's
nutrition
the
lifestyle
nutritionist.
change that things started to happen. One of the
Right.
things I'll never forget, she always told me, if you do the right things, in about 6 months, your body will reset, start to heal
Oh,
itself.
okay.
I can remember waking up one morning going, whoa, something is different.
Oh,
And then I remembered her words of wisdom. So that healing process had kicked in and my body
right.
was starting to repair itself, but it was slow.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
So you gave up the bourbon and the cigars. What kind of dietary changes did she advocate? Yeah.
She made me journal every day
Oh,
what I ate, how much I ate, when I ate it.
and how you felt?
Because see, back then you didn't have the food sensitivity tests like I have.
Oh. That was part of the trigger is
That
when
was
you had a
part of
food sensitivity.
trying to figure out what foods my body was rejecting, what
Ah,
foods were creating inflammation, what
gotcha.
foods I was not digesting. That was a daily task to keep track of everything.
Wow, and how long did you do that for?
Oh my gosh, about 8 months
Wow, every day journaling what you were
every
eating.
day.
Wow.
And then I'd have my little notes about, well, I had a spike of energy or I couldn't get my
Oh,
butt out of bed or, you make all these notes as to your progress. But if you go to the beginning of the journal and then you go towards the end, there's a vast change that took place.
yeah,
Now, today, we don't have to struggle that long in
right,
order to determine how to change our bodies physiologically and
right.
mentally, because your brains are all connected, not only mentally, but physically.
Right. And
Every
so
cell, every organ, every system.
so the role that hypnosis played for you in those early days of healing the Crohn's, what exactly did that do for you?
I would sit there and I would have severe cramping. Oh
Oh,
man, I don't even want to recall that, but
okay.
you just crunch up in that fetal position,
Yeah.
and the pain was so severe that you'd sit there and cry and say, "Please God, take this scourge."
Oh, ugh. That could
Like
certainly lead to
when I
depression.
yeah, so what I learned to do in self hypnosis was to move that pain, was to diminish that pain, to change that pain so it wasn't as severe. And I'm actually certified in teaching pain management to EMTs and
Wow,
doctors. And
that's
yeah, I
awesome.
went through some advanced training so that I could train other people. But it was in self hypnosis and managing my own pain that it became really important that I wouldn't even take an aspirin after that. It was that
Yeah,
significant.
that's remarkable.
It is.
Before we got on, you told me an unbelievable story about this very topic of managing pain when you were in a surgery and they didn't give you enough anesthesia. Will you share that, please?
Well, 11 of those surgeries were for kidney stones. And because all of the drugs and all of the toxins and poisons really destroyed my filter organs, my left kidney was almost on an annual basis creating kidney stones.
Mm.
I'm not sure I've got the right year, but I think it was 2022 or 2023.
Mhm.
I had a knot in my back, felt like somebody really punched me and it wouldn't go away. And so I went to see my urologist
Okay.
and they did an x-ray. And sure enough, I had this kidney stone that was 2 3/4 inches.
Yikes.
You're not going to pass that little guy.
No, and you wouldn't want to.
Oh, no, I wouldn't. I scheduled surgery and it's called a nephrostomy. It's where they go in the back, make an incision, and then they take their equipment, slide it in. There's a light, and then there's a laser
Hmm.
and another vacuum tube. Well, he stuck the knife in my back, and I realized they hadn't given me enough anesthesia. And I'm going,
Because you could feel it.
I could feel it. Knife goes right in. I'm going, Doc, you got to wait a minute.
So you weren't
Well,
even unconscious?
oh, no, I was wide awake.
Were you
And
supposed to be unconscious?
I was supposed to be unconscious.
So you were able to speak to say,
Oh,
hey, this.
yeah, yeah. Hey,
Oh,
Doc,
wow.
you better hold up a second because, man,
Yeah.
something's not right. He's going, oh, my God, he's awake. And I said, Doc, give me 30 seconds and then go ahead and proceed. He says, well, I'll get some more anesthesia. I said, no, just give me 30 seconds. And I dropped myself deep into somnambulism. I mean, deep. I went on a vacation, actually.
Mentally.
Time. But the 6-hour surgery, I was out, and as soon as they were done, boom, I woke up.
So you didn't have to deal with that whole grogginess thing of coming out of anesthesia because you really weren't under anymore.
That's right. That's exactly
Did they
right.
give you anything during that time that they
No.
knew you were awake, or they just
They
ended all of it
they offered me some oxycodone, which
in an IV
I'm
or
really
something?
not fond of.
Yeah.
I think I took some Advil, or no, was it Advil, or there's a form of Tylenol that's a bit stronger than what you can get off the shelf at the pharmacy. But I only took that for a couple days.
Okay, so this is after you came out of the surgery, but while you were in the surgery for those 6 hours, you were on no anesthesia? You were just doing your own self-hypnosis?
Yes.
That's wild.
So a
Go ahead.
couple weeks later, they're going, okay, we got to get the other half. I'm going, oh boy.
What?
Well, this time, apparently there had been some conversations because, man, they put that drip in my arm and I don't remember a thing. They knocked me out totally.
So they weren't able to get the whole thing the first time? You knew that they were gonna
No,
have to go back in?
they could only do half because in that procedure, they don't want to go past 6 hours because then what
Oh.
happens is your autonomic nervous system starts to really react negatively.
Oh, no
So,
kidding.
yeah, the second surgery took about the same amount of time. And then I had to go back a couple weeks later and do a lithotripsy. That's where they go up the penis with a vacuum hose and dust all the cobwebs out, try to get
Was
all the particulate that's remaining out. That's
Okay.
actually worse than the nephrostomy, as far as I'm concerned.
And did you self-hypnose under that one too, or did you
Time they won't let me do these things. And there's reasons
Yeah, I'm sure there's a whole bunch of
legal reasons
insurance
for that.
things, yeah.
So after I came to with the lithotripsy, the doctor said, well, I want to see you in about 6 weeks. So we set the date and the time. And I walked in and he said, how you doing? I said, oh man, I'm feeling great. Of course, after having that 2 3/4 inch chunk of calcium buildup in your back,
Right.
anything would have felt better.
Absolutely.
He said,
But
well,
wait, before you continue, you told me another piece of this that you asked him how long the recovery was gonna take.
that's where I was heading.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, first he asked me, are you feeling anything abnormal? And I said, yeah, there's something that is bothering me and I can't get comfortable. And he goes, well, the stent is still inside you. And I'm going, oh, you're kidding me. So he pulls out this 24-inch stent out of my back. And it was like, oh, man, I felt so good when that thing came out. And I was expecting to bleed all over the floor and everything.
Yeah.
Not a drop of blood. So they put a Band-Aid on my back.
And that's highly unusual, right? When you have something like that removed, don't most people bleed?
Honestly, I don't know, but I would have suspected that most people would bleed a lot.
Yeah, I would think so. If you're removing something out of the body, okay.
Getting my clothes back on after he pulls this thing out, he's standing there with this look on his face, and he goes, Mr. Paul, he says, I've never seen anybody heal this fast.
Yeah.
Well, I'd already talked to him about the stem cell reactivation technology, which I had been wearing, and I had the patch on my back. So he knew that I was still wearing. And I said, well, what is the normal recovery period for people going through the kind of surgeries I've been through? And he said, about 6 months. He says, well, here's your letter of what they call it, not admission, but when they let you go, they sign you off.
Yeah.
And
Basically, they give you the clean bill of health that you're okay to
clean
continue
bill of
on
health.
with your life.
But it was 6 weeks instead of 6 months.
Wow.
I healed that quickly.
That's remarkable.
I know for a fact that it was due to the fact of the technology of the stem cell reactivation.
And so you had been using those from the point of after the surgery?
Oh, yeah, I use them every day.
But I mean, when did you start them? Right after the surgery?
Did I start? No, I had been
Before the
wearing
surgery.
them. I think I'd been wearing the patches for about 4 months.
Okay, 4 months prior
the
to the surgery. Okay,
Right.
Gotcha.
Like I said, I still wear them today.
Yeah.
Next month, I'm going to be 72. And
Wow.
I'm in the best health I've been since I was 15.
That's remarkable.
I feel it when I don't wear them.
Oh, you do? What's different?
I don't have as much energy. I don't have the focus and clarity. I'll fall asleep at my desk.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Of course,
Have you purposely not worn them just to see the difference?
I feel the difference. There's no question.
Right,
I
but I'm
don't-
saying when you haven't worn them, were you doing that consciously, or were you just waiting for your next order to come in and it hadn't come yet? Or do you know what I
No.
mean? Like, what made you decide not to wear them just to kind of see what the difference would be?
No, stupidity. I forgot.
Oh,
Come on.
okay. Oh, okay.
So I came up with a system. That was my alarm that just went off. I have my own personal health curriculum that
I
I
see.
follow on a daily basis. So in the morning, next to my toothbrush or my patches, I put them on after I've taken a shower. And then at night, when I brush my teeth, I'll stick them back on the packet and then go to bed. So I've got the routine down.
So let's talk a little bit about these patches, because obviously I know what they are and I've used them too. And when you talk about stem cell recovery, is that how you put it?
Reactivation.
Reactivation. Okay. If you would just talk a little bit about, these are just, like this big patches that you wear for 12 hours and then
Yes.
take them off for 12 hours. You wanted to describe what's happening with those things?
Yes. Well, as you know, I work in the field of regenerative medicine, which
Right.
are frequencies.
Right.
And that's what this medical device is. It's
Yep.
not like some of these other wacky patches where they're putting crap in your body.
Right. This doesn't have anything outside of you.
Yeah. What we're doing is our body creates white light energy.
Yes.
And it's called phototherapy, just like the sun, when it hits your skin, creates vitamin D.
Right.
Releases certain chemicals, produces vitamin D, and your body will produce just about anything that you need. The frequencies that are in this patch, and the patch contains these nanoparticle crystals of organics and trace minerals and things that have certain frequencies that what they do is they take and stimulate the copper peptide protein that is the on-off switch for the stem cells. And a lot of people think that stem cells are only in the bone. No, they're not.
Right.
They're also in the brain. They're in your hair follicles. and even in the gut, besides the bone and in your bloods. But they're traveling around and they have no purpose. They're just a cell with really no formation. So then what happens when you reactivate that stem cell and you wake it up, because by the age of 30, half of your stem cells are dormant. And by the time you're my age, over 90% of them are dormant. It reactivates the stem cell and the body says, I need a new heart cell. I need a new brain cell. Oh,
So it's helping regenerate these things that the body needs.
I have inflammation in my knee. Actually, that's what happens first. The body says, we got to get the inflammation under control. So what it'll do is it'll start the stem cells and send them to wherever the most inflammation is. Interestingly, the older people have tremendous inflammation in their brain.
Yeah.
And of course, the results, dementia, Alzheimer's, but even our veterans with PTSD, our children with ADHD and autism, this has a huge impact on the body being able to reestablish itself to a level of homeostasis. So it's exciting technology. And then to get the patch to work faster, Dr. Schmidt developed a supplement that contains crystals, vitamins, trace minerals that accelerate the speed of the X39 patch.
Oh, no kidding. What's that supplement called? I haven't tried that yet.
Called Cellularize.
Okay.
It's funny. I was at a conference all this week and I would get my bottle, I'd get my 2 cups of water and put my Cellularize in it.
Oh, it's a powder?
It's a powder. You can put it on food, you can put it in your drink, whatever.
Oh, cool. Okay.
But I remember Monday morning, I'm on my way to the conference. I'm sitting there guzzling down my concoction. And when I got to the conference, all of a sudden my body just lit up and my ears started tingling. And I'm going, well,
wow, that's wild.
Yeah, but this is leading somewhere else. Dr. Schmidt, who I think is even more brilliant than Elon Musk, this man is just
more like a Tesla, right? This Dr. Schmidt.
Yeah. Well, all of this is based on Tesla's concept of frequencies.
Okay.
He always said the future of medicine lies in frequencies, and so did Albert Einstein.
Yes. Yeah.
But I was at a conference for Lifewave, and this is our team.
Yes.
And this was in Orlando, and Dr. Schmidt came. So we were talking about his newest invention.
Yeah, this is mind-blowing. You told me about this on the phone, and I'm so excited to try this. So
it's called X2O. Now, as you know,
X2O.
The 2 things our body demands are in the O2 family.
Yeah.
H2O and O2. So what happens is he developed this device that uses frequencies to change water into a whole new element of light energy water. It's not like regular water. It's not like you have to hydrate yourself drinking 10 glasses a day. What this does is it delivers light energy directly into the cells through every part of your body. So the example was there was an older man who had arthritis and he had eagle claws and he suffered for years. Doctors couldn't help him. Everybody tried everything, neurologists, all of the specialists. And the man was in excruciating pain. Dr. Schmidt took a pad, patched him, gave him a bit of the Cellularize to drink, but then he gave him 4 ounces of the light energy water. Now, as you know, Amy, when we wear the patch, there's very few one-day wonders, but it generally takes anywhere from 30 to 90 days to really realize some good results from the patch. It takes that long for your body to respond.
Right.
Well, this man in 2 minutes went from eagle claws to extending his fingers.
Unreal.
And I sat there watching this and my jaw, just fell out of my mouth.
Oh, and when you say watching, you saw a video of this happening.
Yes.
So it's not just that you heard the story, you actually saw the video of this experience.
And it was blowing. And when Dr. Schmidt talks about the technology of the light energy water, it's like, oh my God, the patch, the supplement, and the water is going to change medicine in a radical way. The patch already has. A
Yes.
lot of doctors are saying it's the biggest medical breakthrough in our lifetime.
Yeah.
He's got the process that accelerates the self-healing. Now, we're not saying that, the FDA makes you make all these disclaimers that we don't
Right.
cure disease, we don't do this or that.
Right.
No, but you can't deny when your body heals itself. And that's exactly what this does.
Right. I want to just highlight the idea that our bodies are designed to heal if
Yes,
we give it what it needs, right?
the right
It's
tools. That's right.
exactly.
And one of the big ones is detoxing. Oh my
Ah,
God. And this formulation helps to detox the body, especially the collapsed veins and the nanoparticle plastics that are in our brain. It'll help
it's
begin to
terrifying.
detox all
So
of
it
it.
is helping get rid of these microplastics?
Yes.
Oh, that's amazing. So the three things that you're talking about are the X39 patch, the Cellularize supplement,
And
and
in
now this new
October,
water.
the light energy water.
When is that coming to market, the light energy water machine?
October 27th.
Oh my gosh, right around the corner. Okay.
I am so excited.
I bet you are, because I know you're going to be getting one.
Absolutely. And I'm going to share it with everybody.
Yeah. So you'll get lots of different people's experiences to be
Yeah.
able to speak about.
So the reality is that we're using frequencies to heal the body. That's
Right.
what regenerative medicine is all about.
Yeah,
So
you-
I've gone down that rabbit hole and I use it with people every day. When you get results, that's the bottom line. People who have
that's
suffered
key.
and they've been on all these pharmaceuticals.
And one of the things that I've talked about on this podcast with lots of different guests who have healed themselves from all kinds of different illnesses is how pharma has its place for sure.
Yes.
But often what happens is somebody starts one prescription and then it causes other side effects. So they got to take something else to manage those. And rarely does it ever get to the core of what the problem is. It's just kind of treating symptoms. And then
That's
you
all.
become a
That's all
patient for
pharma.
life.
I don't know where pharma has actually cured anybody.
I don't think it actually has either. The only thing I can say from my own experience of a family member with OCD is that one pharma drug actually made her feel like she got her brain back because OCD, with these constant thoughts that are not rational and not based on reality, but that's just like the OCD brain. That one instance I've seen actually a difference in this person's life. It's not
There
a
is,
lifetime.
right.
She's learned skills too.
Yes, there is a place for pharma, but
Correct.
it's not in the front. Hippocrates would be rolling in his grave because he always used all natural means to heal that individual. And
Correct.
only in certain cases will I send them to a specialist.
Yes.
So they've got it backwards. They got all these specialists up front
Right.
instead of doing the proper thing.
And the other piece that has definitely come through these conversations is especially people that are chemically sensitive.
Yes.
There's very little understanding in Western medicine about that. And so what typically I've seen happen to people is they go in with certain issues, whether it's one of my guests, for example, had terrible hives and she couldn't keep food down. And there was all these different physical symptoms, but nobody ever asked her what she was eating, much less the fact, is there mold in your rental apartment? Because the mold was that they
Right.
pushed her over the edge. So what happened was she went to the doctor and they kept trying to treat the different symptoms of this mold toxicity and never got to the issue. So she just gave up with them and started juicing and changed her diet and cleaned her, apartment out of any kind of toxic household product. And that's how she healed herself. These stories are becoming so common where Western medicine has its place, but it's not able
It's
to
in
get to the
front.
core.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's
So these Lifewave medical breakthrough technologies are just pretty remarkable.
Oh, but he also has some other goodies in his bag that are non-medical, uh,
Oh,
not related to health and wellness.
really?
Oh, he's already developed drone technology that the government wants, and he said, no, it's only for humanitarian purposes. But,
Ooh, what would
uh,
that do, the drones?
well, like in the case of North Carolina, he can carry 3 times as much of the volume of emergency supplies, use a third of the fuel that most of the other drones use,
Oh
but
my
also has
gosh.
3 times the distance that it can travel. He did that as a side project.
Oh my God.
Yeah, the one I'm really excited about. We asked him, well, what's in the next 5 years? And he said,
Yeah.
everybody will have free electricity in their home and for their car.
Finally, I heard about this back when I watched a documentary that we have the technology already and it's just been suppressed because it wasn't able to be sold the way that oil and gas and coal and nuclear and all these other things
Well,
have been.
we know that there's an economic impact. And so
Correct.
trying to get past the government and their regulations and everything that's
Right.
involved is really the biggest hurdle. It's not that
Yeah.
we have it tomorrow.
Correct. Correct.
He said within 5 years, every Lifewave brand partner will have free electricity. I'm
Wow.
excited.
That's awesome.
Talk about charging.
Ah, yeah, literally charging. Wow.
So health and wellness is on a magnificent paradigm shift.
Yes. Agreed.
All of these things I try to follow, and it's just heartwarming. But then I lay there at night and I'm sitting there thinking about my life, and I've done a lot of crazy things, believe me.
Okay.
So when you're sick, you've got to keep busy, otherwise you lose it. But I keep thinking and going back to that day that the doctor told my mother that we really don't know anything about gut disease.
Mm,
And back then, had we known what we know today, I
yeah.
would have had to go through all of that.
So you would have saved yourself 50 years of suffering, basically, if we knew things back then.
But
Mm,
then I wouldn't have done some of the crazy things I've done too that were, visionary and ahead of its time. But
okay. So
life
there
is
was a
what it is.
purpose there.
Yeah, life is what it is. It's
Yeah.
all how you play the cards.
All right.
So I love what I do now, helping people heal. But the one thing that really hit me while I was sick all that time and the depression was struggling financially.
Yeah.
And I'm not a money chaser per se, but
Mm,
man, you can do so many good things for people if you do have money.
right.
So I talk to people about financial freedom, and Lifewave is the first thing I've ever run across. And I've been on a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
It's the first one I've run across where people can easily make a few $1,000s a week or more. There are some people making unbelievable amounts of money, but they work at
Yeah.
full time hard.
Right. Right.
So the reality gets down to, what do you want out of life? Do you want freedom of time? Do you want freedom of finances? What would a couple $100s a week do to change your life? Or maybe
Mhm.
$1,000 or $5,000 a
Right.
week? That's huge. So there's very few opportunities that ever come along in your lifetime. And this one I jumped on. I
Yeah.
really did. So I hope some of your people will call you and say, hey, talk to me about all of this, because I'm a person that I want to help other people.
Yes, I totally get that about you. And so I think what we wanted to do to offer to the listeners is if any of this intrigues them and they would like to have a chat with both of us, we'd be happy to do a 15 to 20-minute free conversation if they want to learn more.
Well, I'm going to charge them. They got to bring me a cup of coffee.
Well, not if it's on Zoom, Dennis.
Well, it'll be a
Virtual coffee. Virtual coffee. Yeah,
or a
but
virtual tea.
but I mean, seriously, because you have so much information and a lot more experience with this than I do. And I think that, if they want to pick your brain for 20 minutes, it's certainly well worth the time.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We live in some great times, even though there's a lot of noise and chaos out in the world right now. We live in some incredulous times.
Well,
And
there are some amazing things happening like this. And Dr. Schmidt is absolutely a pioneer in so many different ways. I mean, to even hear that he's developing these other side things like the drone is just amazing. Good
Yeah.
God, his brain. Yeah, remarkable. What you've personally experienced, you told me that those patches are what helped you heal so quickly from those surgeries.
Yeah.
And clearly you got that validation from your doctor. So it's not like it's just pie in the sky. Oh, mind over matter. I think this is maybe helping. You actually have results. And we know tons of people that are having all kinds of things change as a result of using these technologies.
Well, understand too that the X39 also helps with sleep issues.
Which is
Some people
so
say they sleep
prevalent.
good, but the reality is that 80% of the people are not getting that deep REM mode, theta brainwave sleep for
Which
heal.
cleans the brain.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, in about 6 weeks, the brain begins to balance. That is huge. I talked a little bit about brain entrainment.
Yes.
And it's like the FM radio. You drive out too far away from the towers, why all you hear is static and noise. But
Yeah.
get close enough and you fine tune it, then you hear that music that you want to hear. But
Yeah.
that's how the body works, is it
Yeah.
communicates on those frequency levels.
Right.
The other thing I'll share, and this is for another day, but each one of us has our own specific set of frequencies. And I
Mm,
can demonstrate that to you sometime in the future.
okay.
It's not like you can just buy one thing and it's going to take care of everybody. No, you're very unique. I hate to call you a
Yes.
snowflake, but we are snowflakes in that our composition is so unique. There's not two of us in the
Well,
world.
even like our fingerprint, there's no
That's
two
right.
that are the same.
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah. Amazing. Well, this has been a fantastic conversation, as always, with you. And I'll put information in the show notes where they can reach us so that we can set up a chat if they're interested.
Wonderful.
Thank you so much for sharing all
You're
this
welcome.
incredible information.
Oh,
Thank you, Dennis.
thank you, Amy.
If you loved this episode, please share it with a friend. And if today's conversation has you thinking about your own health, food, and home, I'd love to invite you again to my 12-week Clean Eating Mastery Program. You'll find more information on greenlivingnow.com. Thanks so much for listening, and I'll see you next week on the Green Living Now podcast.